Hello, my fellow FOAs. So I'm finally gonna be doing or sitting down and doing like a lyric kind of, meaning like analysis in a way, I guess, just like, or kind of my take on what I think the songs are about. I know it's been like a couple of weeks already since the album has dropped, and I have been obviously like on my own time, like hearing the album as well, and just listening to the words more so. But yeah, so I think what I'm gonna end up doing is how before we listen to the song, I'm gonna like go like kind of think what like express like what I think it's about at first, or like before like knowing any of the lyrics, except for obviously for Pinocchio. I think because I already heard that song and we already seen the lyrics so much, I can't really like say too much on that one. And then one at run of 1.5 times speed, I have kind of already like briefly mentioned what I think it's about on my move to performance video of that, but we're still gonna end up getting to see actually if that's gonna be what it's about, or what the lyrics end up saying. And then at the end we'll probably, well, not probably, I probably at the end I'm gonna go ahead and finally like rank where the songs are at this point for me. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and start, y'all. So for Everything Is Love, since that is like the opening song, but also the leeway from the AHOF like meant like ending from the previous album, it's that's like their kind of how NCTU back in the day, I feel NCTU or one of the NCT groups had like their own kind of version of that, where they had like their own like ments of like either like talking about like kind of the experience, or like giving their thanks to their fans or people who supported them, their family members and stuff like that. Yeah, are like just trying to like set the tone and like give deeper meaning to it. You know how we ended off that way. And then for here, we're like Everything Is Love. So for this, my take on it was, since it is like the intro, quote unquote intro of the album, my take on it was, after listening to it a couple times, it's kind of in a way for me, it's kind of giving like, oh, everything that you, every little like moment, like memory, things that you experience, like everything about that, like all of that is like, that's all like love, you know what I mean? Like, that makes sense to you all. I don't know if that makes sense, because it's like seeing, it's also like about like seeing the world in like a beautiful light, and like keeping that like positivity going. I feel like keeping like that positive mindset in a way. So like seeing how everything like that, every little moment, every little detail, every little thing that you experience, everything of like that is like love, because it's like how you say like love it, you need like love and caring and stuff like that to like help you grow. So that's kind of what my thought process of it was, basically just on hearing it, and also how it's kind of the beginning of this new like concept for the album. How for Pinocchio, his main thing is like, oh, he's always like lying, but he's also like, his one main thing is like him wanting to be a real boy, because I think in his heart, I think him becoming a real boy means he can finally have like a family, he can have these emotions, like he can like feel like the love that he like wants, if that makes sense. So I think that's why they started off with this song, and that's what I think so far it's kind of about, but also like how it how it ends up tying in with the last ending meant song, that not song but like little meant like commentary that they gave us in the Who We Are album. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and listen and look at the lyrics now, y'all. I still really like how they did that. It was really smart on them. It's kind of like I mentioned to y'all how Boy Next Door did the same thing with like a teaser. Okay. So talking about like their dream of debut from like Universe League. Aww. So you will be alright. Aww. Okay, yeah, so it's giving everything is love. Aww. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, taking all those experiencing and like that's all, thinking in a positive and like thinking that it helps you grow. Okay. Aww. So yeah, very much tying with like their ments from the previous, like, and their, I guess, kind of wishes or like commentary for the group, and then it leading to this. and talking about their journey as a group. Okay. Cause everything is love. 없게 꿈은 뭐든 Aww. Yeah, so like you see what I mean? It's just like taking all those experiences and like moving forward with it and helping it make you grow. But also like them talking about like their chemistry as a group and like being like having each other to rely on is also what it's giving, right? You and I and online 비는 익숙이거든 우리도 되려거나 함께. Oh, I love that. This is very sweet though, It's like I said, very like uplifting though too for like anyone, because it's kind of giving like, oh, like we have each other to rely on, but like for our fans, we're a sense of comfort, so like you can listen to our music and relate to like the messages and us kind of giving you that positivity to keep on going. Cause you and I and all night been an instant there. Oh, cause you and I and all night been an instant there. Oh. Cause everything is love. Yeah, so I kind of got part of the feeling, right? But I didn't realize that they were also talking about like they said nine so many times, so like them referring to them as their group unit, and that each of them have gone through certain things in their own life before joining Universe League, and then finally being able to be in a group, and now having each other to rely on, and getting through everything that comes their way through this new experience and this debut, right? And now their second album. So yeah, I like that. I really like this song. Like I said, I really enjoy when songs have like a deeper meaning, and it's not just because it's they don't always have to have a deeper meaning. It could just be for you to like you can enjoy like the feeling or like the beat or the melody of it all, which is like obviously what my first listening was. I was like, oh, well, here and there I was like, some of them I already like knew what they were saying, but and then also like basing it off of what the concept is for the album, kind of relating it to that. But then obviously now that I know what the lyrics are saying, it's very much very uplifting and very like meaningful to them as a group, and also like to the fans as well, because they're saying just keep like, even if things get hard, keep going, and just use that experience and like make you stronger to keep chasing what you want to do, and I feel like for like I said, for them, most of them have like gone on this journey, different journeys, and now they're on together on the same journey, like same um on the same path. So it's giving that to like having those experiences now together and getting to enjoy and having each other to rely on when things might get harder, you know what I mean? But okay, so the next one should be obviously running at 1.5 times speed. So for this one, like I said, I kind of already talked about in my move to performance what I think it's about, and basically to give you a summary, I was saying how it seems like it might be, either like keep going. I think I was saying like how some for in terms of like Pinocchio and people like younger like children or like teenagers always saying, oh, I want to like hurry up and like grow up and be an adult so I can do what I want or whatever. It's kind of giving, okay, like yes, but then once you finally do become an adult, you kind of wish you were back to those days, because you there's so much you go through and like get to enjoy, and you don't have as much responsibilities as you do when you're older, and have things that you have to like prioritize. So it's giving very much like, oh, like yes, like just take your time at, like, for me it was like take your time at growing, and just experience life and all that it has to offer to you before you get to that age where you start to have to become a little bit more serious on certain things and like focus on like more like adult like, you know, mindset, right? And growing that way. But then also was giving like, you know, like I said one point, you know, because you two times speed, two times as fast, right? And then one is like regular, but then 1.5 is like the middle ground is what I would think is what I was saying. But then I think I also had said, I'm trying to remember what else I had said for that. If you always want to watch, like, go watch the Move 2 performance to remember to, if you guys haven't already, or to remember what I said, you can go back and watch that. But I know it was something along the lines of that, but then also how I was putting it towards like Pinocchio, because you know Pinocchio is like always like, oh, like I want to be a real boy, and like, but then within, I think with that, how I said before, like taking your time to like grow up, it's like very much like, oh, like don't take for granted what you're like, what you're, how you're don't take things for granted, basically, right? Like, you know, take everything as it, you know, cherish everything, basically. So that's why I'm like, you know how Pinocchio, he's like, oh, I want to be a real boy, but then like in the process like of that goal, he ends up like forgetting certain things, or like, you know, putting himself at risk. So it's very much like that's what the song was giving to me, but more in an uplifting kind of way, to be like, oh, also like, I think it also said that, you know, it's also a way to saying like, oh, keep moving forward, like, you know, even if things get hard, you know, like just kind of like to pick up the little bit of the pace, not so much a lot, but like, you know, just to like don't let like don't get slowed down by things that, you know, like bad things that may happen along the way. Just keep moving and keep moving forward, so you can able to like make progress and, you know, become a better person. That's also I think what I ended up saying. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and listen and watch the lyrics, y'all. Let's go. I'm running, I'm running. Okay, so it's giving like just keep chasing after your dreams, okay? So good, yeah, so speed it up. On the way. Let's go. Okay, so it's like talking about, you know, putting all your effort into what your dream is, and keep, yeah, okay, very interesting. Every night, every day. Yeah, so speed it up. Never end. Okay, so they're very much giving, keep, you know, pushing towards your dreams and don't let things get in the way of that. Okay, it's very like an ongoing theme, I feel like, so far. Let's go. Running, I'm running. Go for it all day. 너를 향해. Okay, so it's kind of also kind of giving like, oh, that for the reason maybe for them to keep pushing and like keep going towards their dream with each other, with us, with like a support. Okay. It also feels like the feelings of them getting closer to like when they debuted, you know? Go for it all day. Okay, so yeah, I think I ended up interpreting it very differently. I mean, there are certain things like that make sense. So like, oh, it's very much, them saying like we have each other. So because of that, I'm using y'all as motivation to keep on going and chase towards our dream, and like it keep and me going as fast, like not as fast as I can, but like going a little bit, like keep going, like going a little bit faster, kind of like kind of reminds you of dig a little deeper from Princess and the Frog. How they're saying like, oh, you have to keep like to look at to see how things really are, and understand someone a little better. It's kind of giving that, but more so here, like it's saying, oh, keep going and keep pushing yourself as much as you can, because it just brings you more closer towards that goal. And since I also have you by my side, it's helping me as support, and helping me fuel that energy, and fuel that desire to even to continue on and wanting to do better, and chase towards the same goal that we have, is what it's giving. But okay, like I said, very cute song. Like I said, I always really enjoy when songs have a deeper meaning, and for me also doing and reacting to Eunice's like songs, it's I always say like, oh, like I like their songs, but then it's also they have a lot of deeper meaning with it, and it's not just like cutesy. It's like very much a concept for the whole album, and it makes sense. But yeah, we're just gonna obviously move on to Pinocchio, even though we already know what Pinocchio is about, and I have done my take on that a bunch of times. Like I said, it's very much for this for Pinocchio. It's very much talking. I think it said. I was saying how it's in a way like describing like idol life in a way a little bit too, and then because that's particularly that part. But it's very much, like I said, giving the things you have to experience, like in giving, like also like friendships. Because sometimes people are like, oh, is it better to lie to someone and protect their feelings, or is it better to tell them the truth and just have to deal with that. No, 너에게 너를 위해 기가 와줘 저런만큼 조금만 갈 것 같아. Oh, 우리의 솔직한 편이 여기에 필요하잖아. I really like that part, y'all, where like I said, it's a acrostic poem spelling out Pinocchio Yongi, right? But yeah, it's very much giving, like even, just being there for each other is enough. But that's like like I said, hiding your truth and hiding like what your real feelings are is what Pinocchio also does. So is it like them kind of saying it in a way as he didn't have the courage to do so, but is it because he didn't like he just hated lying too in a way? 어떤 걸까? But yeah, after how many times I've seen the lyrics to this, how many times I've heard it, how many times I like talked about what my feelings are on the meaning of it, it's like I said, it's pretty much stayed the same. And then it's just really interesting how they ended up using Pinocchio in a way to like express that, like I said, the change from young boy to adulthood and like the experiences that you go through, and just certain things that you have to like learn in order to grow, and like I said, letting it shape you and mold you and make you stronger because of that. It's very much that. But then also don't forget to rely on people, and don't keep things hidden, because it's never good to keep feelings pent up. And just always, is it like, but it's also like that conversation of them talking about like, oh, like, is it better for me to like save your feelings and lie to you, or is it better for me just to tell you the truth, and just with me telling you the truth, just be there as support, and to make sure that everything's gonna be okay, and that like that I'll be there for you, basically, right? But okay, we're gonna move on to, I believe it's, yeah, Never Let Lose You. So that's actually the fan song. So for this one, I know it's the fan song, so like I said, it's very much giving that like, oh, because of like we have FOA, like we have that that bond now, that like we also rely on you for support. And it's the same thing with, it's like, it's vice versa, like it's the same thing goes both ways. Like we rely on them, like to give, not rely on them, but like we look at them as a way to give us like smiles, give us good times, give us comfort. So it's kind of giving, it's the same thing for them, where like FOAs are like like their fandoms is, the fandom is like the happiness for them, the moments where they can kind of rest and look to be comforted, supported, feel all that love, right? But yeah, we're just gonna also look at the lyrics for this. Y'all already know what my favorite part of this is, though. I have mentioned it, and one of the behind the scenes. Aww. Aww. Like I said, yeah, very much, so it's like, yeah, definitely like staying by your side, but like not like super close, but like, because it's a fan idol relationship, but like I'm still always there if you need to like rely on me, or like have that place of comfort. Where should I go now? I love Juwon's this whole part. Laying down for a while, like the Juwon Steven to JL part, like that's my favorite like verse. Oh, this is Juwon singing it? I didn't know that. I think that was Han doing that little ref, no? Or was that Woongi? Okay, when Jaya with that little ad lib there. I like the I like that little riff at the end. I think someone had mentioned telling me that. I think Woongi wrote on here. Obviously, Steven wrote a lot on here. I remember them two for sure. But yeah, I think it just makes it more meaningful for. Oh, right there. It tells you Woongi, Steven, and Han. Okay, Woongi, Steven, and Han. So, knowing that they, wrote on like lyrics on it kind of makes it more meaningful and makes it more of a fan song because, it's very much their own feelings towards like Foha and the experience of that and that relationship. And I think they described it really beautifully where it's like we can't always be like near each other because obviously like they're idols, like we're regular people, but like it's still way for us to like is they're saying like, oh, like even like we're not close to each other, just us, we're always there for you to give you like support, give you comfort, something to like fall back on, when you're not feeling like the best, kind of to like lift your spirits. And like I said, it's very much the same, it's it goes both ways for them. So like, because we're not always close to them, but at the moments where we are, that gives them a little bit of energy and a little bit of comfort and support to keep going on and can keep continuing doing what they're doing and like it encourages them, right? But it's like I said, it's very like a sweet song. They did a really great job, describing it and kind of making it a fan song because like when I first listened to the album, like I said, like I think I said like, or I think I did it. I think I did say because I didn't do the lyrics, but I was just like I just based on the title of the song, I was just like, oh, it's giving very much them like them talking about like this being about Foa, and then someone let me know, oh, it's the fan song. I'm just like, oh, well, there you go, there's my answer. Like I legit said that too, but not knowingly, right? So I think that tells you that their meaning, even with just like the vibe of the song and the title of the song was able to give that feeling across, which is a good thing, right? Okay, but the last one should be The Sleeping Diary. So for this one, I honestly don't know what to tell y'all. Oh. Okay, so for this one, I honestly don't know what to tell y'all because I think when I did the initial listening to the album, I believe I said that it's giving like a lullaby in a way, but also like how, there's that whole thing of people saying like, oh, you have your dreams or your nightmares or whatever, and you kind of keep like a sleeping, like that's what it is, like a sleeping journal or a sleeping diary, and like you wake up the next morning and like whatever you remember, you're supposed to like help, like not help, you're supposed to like jot it down or like write down what you remember because it helps, like if you analyze it, it kind of helps maybe see what might be affecting or like what's it on what's it called reoccurring like issue being in these nightmares, or that there's like a consistency within each one or like certain things to like maybe show like what you're worried about or like hidden like things that you're like, yeah, like what hidden like your like hidden meaning behind it. Like there's like a whole analysis thing of it, I know that. So it was giving very much that to me just from the title. So I was like, oh, well, then what is it supposed to be? Is it supposed to be like them like just saying wishing good dreams like overall, or is it like them just, I feel that's probably what it is, like for kind of having that like nice like little chill song, but also like I said, very much giving that they always wish that you have good dreams, and that's pretty much it. I feel like that's what I ended up saying. I don't think I had anything else more to add to it, but yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and see what the actual lyrics are gonna end up saying, because in the way like it eases into the like you're kind of in that dreams like mindset, before it starts. Okay, it's I guess so. It's very giving like reflecting on like past memories. and kind of letting it. Okay, okay. So maybe like dreams of them. Okay, so it's talking about like having those memories from before, like when you're younger and like ambitions, but then maybe as you get older, like I said, you end up forgetting sometimes of like it, but then like it's them this coming back. I need to pause real quick because I'm like missing part of it. So it's like basically saying that maybe it's being whispered, or like, they're having dreams of back when they were like younger, and it's telling them like, oh, like, don't you remember you like used to want to do this, and like you wanted to do that, like something else, or like you had like ambitions and like dreams like of doing this one day, but then as you get older maybe you lose that like spark about it, or you end up forgetting, and then you kind of like fall in like the routine of how like basically what everyone else is doing, but then kind of also lose like, oh, like it just becomes like a day-to-day thing where you're just living day to day and not like enjoying life as you should be, and kind of giving in a way, if that makes sense. So it's kind of them saying the song's kind of giving that, oh, like their younger version of themselves, it's like either they kept like a complete like whole diary, and those words that they used to write to themselves to like encourage themselves is like coming to them in their dreams, and like giving them like, oh, like motivation, or just like, oh, remember like this, and then it's kind of making them like, oh, why did I like, what did I want to do when I was younger, or like, oh, like finding that new like a new inspiration, or new, like I said, motivation to keep, try something new, or like try like, find that thing that makes like find like, in terms of like, if you want to talk about like occupation or something like that like that you love a lot, that like it's not like, I'm trying to like describe it well, find something that you love to do and not just feel like you're obligated, and like feel like, it's, a day-to-day thing. It's kind of giving that maybe. So it's like saying that and like keep moving forward. So like this is like an ongoing, like very much ongoing theme, I feel like, for this is like, don't give up and keep pushing forward towards your dreams or towards your goal. And then also giving, oh, you have someone to rely on though if things aren't going the right way. So, just remember that you have someone to support you or rely on, or like, or give you comfort. Okay. But okay, got you. I think that's what I'm leaning towards. Yeah, see, let's say like it's saying it's not too late, basically saying like you're still young, don't think that everything has a time limit. And that too, like when you don't know what you want to do with your life, but there's like, you can always start something, See, it's like never late to start something. Oh, JL's doing the ad-lib there? Oh, I knew that though, like that high note, I was like, it's him, like, obviously. Yeah, so like I said, very much giving that, like, cause I was just thinking like in terms of like the dream, so I wasn't really sure what they were trying to like say without knowing. I just got like that feeling of it, right? But so it's for them, it's just, like I said, it's kind of reminiscing on like the time when you were like younger, and like, young kids always have like a lot of like dream, like especially like little kids when you know how they have those like career days and stuff like that. We're just like, oh, like what do you like want to be like, and then you always have like big like ambitions, big dreams, and then like obviously as you get older, sometimes you end up losing a little bit of that ambition, or you end up like losing your way. But they're, I think here is what they're saying is like, oh, that person is still inside of you, you know, it's still like a part of you. You've grown up, but like that person's still there. So like you just gotta like either dig a little bit deeper, or like, you know, kind of sometimes kind of go back and, you know, reminisce on the times to like help you like kind of, you know, see that you're like doing a good job, but like kind of also like, oh, like not give up, and, you know, keep like a very much ongoing theme of, you know, running towards your dreams and like not giving up, and, you know, having someone always there as well to like rely on as, you know, support system. But yeah, that's what it's very much giving in this song, I guess. I was like not really sure though, like I said at first, because it just sounds like very much like a lullaby in a way. But they're all other songs so far have been very comforting. Like it's called having that, you know, that feeling of you're not alone, that you always have someone, you know, there. You know, you'll realize, oh, you have people there that are support your support system, and try not to give up when things are like not going the way you want, and, you know, just basically that, which like I said, really think it's a nice album and like nice like support for fans, and like, you know, anyone who just listens to their song is like very comforting. But from the first album, I've been wanting to do that because I didn't do that for the first album because there was no lyrics, and after because I was like I didn't do it before because I was there was no like I didn't check for the lyric videos, right? But now I was like, oh, I kind of want to do that this time around because I did do that with Eunice. So I was like, let me see like what, you know, what they want to portray with the meaning instead of just me like guessing and like having my own meaning. But it's also like interesting to see how like what I interpreted at first listen, or like just listening a couple of times, and the feeling of it ends up, if it ends up being anything of the same, or like kind of a little bit, or like things some of them are like kind of similar but not really. You know, everyone has their own interpretation, right? But that's what I'm talking about. Like it's different for everyone, but kind of seeing and comparing if that ended up being what the actual meaning of it, if it actually got across, or if it's something ended up being completely different. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I shall see you in the next one. Okay, sorry y'all, I ended up forgetting adding or talking about the ranking. Like I said, I was gonna do the beginning of the video, but I'm just gonna end up doing it right here at the end. So if you made it to the end, I apologize, or if I forgot to do it. But I want to say for sure I'm gonna put "Never Lose You" at number 1, just because like I said, I really like a fan song, and I think just the vibe of it is very much my cup of tea. It's very much giving how Incomplete felt to me when I first heard it on the Who We Are album. Number 2 is definitely gonna be Pinocchio Hates Lies, definitely, because I think it's very catchy, very meaningful, like love like the ad-libs, love everything about the song. I feel like I'm gonna have a hard time with ranking the rest of them, just because like I feel like obviously for the first 2 are it's like the songs that I always constantly end up singing a lot too. I think number 3 is probably gonna have to be Running at 1.5 times speed, just because it's very uplifting and very bright and very, you know, fun and jazzy, and kind of like just because of the instrumental like of it too, because, you know, I have mentioned before in the first time listening that I really like when there's like a trumpet, or like just like the jazz feel. I don't know what it is about it, but it just, I love it, and I just think it's very playful, and like the ad-libs and everything and it are really pretty. Number 4, this is where I'm gonna have a hard time. I think I'm gonna have a really hard time trying to see which one I want for number 4. I think I'm gonna put number 4 at The Sleeping Diary, just because I really like, as well, I love JL's like ad-libs, and like, you know, the high notes that he ends up hitting, and it's just very pretty and very like dreamy, and very like, I think like now knowing the actual meaning of the song as well, and it kind of, you know, has you like, it kind of keeps you like self-reflecting in a way on your own life, and like also like just the whole album, like I said, is very much about comfort and seeking comfort, and, you know, not only in other people but also like, you know, in yourself, and trying to keep moving forward. And then I think obviously I'm gonna end up putting Everything Is Love at 5, which I'm just like, I didn't want to do, but I think it's probably one of the least listened songs. I feel like I always have like a couple that I end up, you know, it takes me a couple of listens, like I mentioned before, to end up enjoying after a while. And like at first listen, like I like it, but then it's like, oh, I have to keep listening to it a little bit more to like keep, liking it and like, get an acquired taste for it basically. But yeah, so I'll have them already listed up on this last bit. But yeah, so sorry for not doing it in the video. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed, y'all, and yeah, so see you in the next one.